Okay, hello YouTube. Today I'm going to be showing you how to install HID light bulbs. I just got the package about 10 minutes ago. I was real excited. Wanted to open it. I ordered these from xenomsupply.com. We'll be posting the link down in the bar there. You don't have to order from Xenon Supply. The reason why I chose to do is because they offer a warranty, so they kind of stand behind the product, and I heard some good reviews about it. You can order from wherever you want. The only thing I urge you is to kind of do some research, because there's a lot of cheap knockoff ones out there that really aren't too good. Like I said, these have a warranty, so it's good. Anyways, here we have the bulbs. They're in a protective casing, and then we got the ballast over here. I upgraded to the premium slim. Again, you don't have to. And then we got some 3M double-sided stick thing, so you can kind of mount it kind of a sloppy way if you want. As well, I ordered the wiring harness. This allows the HID bulb to get their own power rather than using the power off of the old headlight. From what I've researched, that really helps with the anti-flickering. You do not have to do this. It's completely optional. You can just use that, but from what I read, like I said, it's a little more reliable, and if you have a warranty on your car, as I do, you maybe don't want to ruin it in case something happens. So this is just a safer way to go, but again, you don't need it. So pretty much wiring for these are real straightforward. So you got the bulb here. The bulb's got some connectors on it. This one, these two. Pretty much, it's real straightforward. This one right here, the female one, is going to go into your old headlight connector. So the headlight connector that attaches to the old bulb that you have on now, you're going to pull it off of the bulb, plug it into here. Then you get this end. This end is going to go right into the ballast over here. So you see there's the ballast, and it's going to plug right in there. Then you have two small connectors that are obviously going to plug into these two small connectors. It's really, you can't get them mixed up. It's impossible to get them mixed up because they only go in one way. If you force it, whatever, I guess you're dumb, but you shouldn't be forcing it. It'll go right in. See, it goes like that. That is only if you're using without a wiring harness, but I'm going to be using the wiring harness, so I'm not going to be doing it that way. I'm going to be doing it a little different. So the wiring harness is kind of long. Let me unravel it here. Second. Alright, so with the wiring harness, you got a couple more things here. Again, this is real straightforward too. It looks more complicated than it really is. So with this is going to be your negative, and that's going to plug into one of the ballasts. And this one over here is going to be the same thing. Your negative that's going to plug into one of the ballasts. So let's just say that we plug this side in, and we're just going to focus on the one side. So this right here, again, I'm going to be showing you guys this when I actually hook up to my car. But this right here, off of the wiring harness, is going to hook up to the positive side of the battery. So let's say we hook that up. Then this right here is going to go into the ballast. Okay? That's going to get plugged right into the ballast. So there's that, and the ballast would plug right in there. Then you have this. Now what this is going to do is, remember the bulb, how it had the one that's going to plug into the factory harness? Well, you're going to plug that into the factory harness, so where the old bulb was plugged into the car, this is going to go into it. Okay? And then this one, instead of going into the ballast, is going to go into this. Okay? This is just going to go right into that. So, again, you're going to have the negative one, the one with the ground wire facing, plugging into the ballast. Okay? That takes care of that. You're going to have the two small connectors as before, plugging into the two small connectors of the ballast, just like before. The only difference that you're doing now is the headlight connector is going to go into here, like it would normally, and then this is not going to go into the ballast. This is going to go into the wiring harness. Now, it's important to realize with the wiring harness, you only get one of these, but it controls both sides. Again, you only get one of these on the wiring harness, but it controls both sides, the relays for both headlights. When one turns on, the other one's going to turn on. So it's important that you make sure that you don't freak out. It only gets one. So that means on one of your bulbs, preferably the one farthest from the battery, these two pieces right here are going to remain unused. Just unused. You can, I don't want to say throw them away, but you just tape them off and put them somewhere. You're only going to use the two small ones that are going to go into the ballast. Okay? But on the other side, you're going to plug that into the ballast still. You're still going to plug this with the ground wire. Okay? Now again, I know it seems real confusing, but it's really not. I'll show you when I put it in my car how easy it really is. I think anybody can do it. Real simple, but we'll see how it goes. Alright, so now we're going to show you how to install it. This is an 08 Honda Civic, so this install is specific to this car. However, most of the wiring is going to be the same for all the cars. The only difference with the Honda is you have to take off the front tire and open the inner fender to access the headlight bulb. Most other cars, it's not that hard to get at it. This one, for some reason, engineers decided to make it this hard. So first of all, anyways, with the Honda Civic, what you want to do is you want to go ahead, loosen all your lug nuts, jack up the car, and take off the tire. And then we'll show you how to open the inner fender here in a second. Alright, tire's now off. Car's jacked up. I'm kind of doing it an unsafe way. If you can, jack it up a safer way. You don't want to risk your car falling, but I just jacked up like that. I think that'll work just fine. So the next step we're going to do is we're going to remove the inner fender. Now, to remove the inner fender, you have two types of clip. You have the smaller ones up here that line the entire wheel well up around here, and those ones you just pop a flathead right into the top, and it'll pop out, and you just pull it out. And then the other ones down here, the bigger ones, you got to get a flathead in the middle of the two and just kind of pry it out. If you break it, it's no big deal. You could get replacement clips from Honda, not a big deal. So anyways, what you want to do is you want to remove 3 of these, and then all along here there's some, and then there's one under the bumper, right, as you see it right there. You got to remove that to get out the inner fender. So we're going to go ahead and do that right now. Alright, so the fender's off. You probably feel like quitting at this point. I know these 3 clips gave you a lot of trouble, as they did me. Actually, I wound up breaking one here and breaking 2 on the other side. No big deal. No use crying over spilled milk. Anyways, so you peeled back the fender, and there it is. There's what we worked so hard to get at. This is the low beam. I already explained the wiring to you, and since I'm holding the camera by myself, it's really hard for me to wire and talk to you about it, so I'm just gonna kind of tell you about it and then do it and then show it to you, kind of like I've been doing with the other steps. So anyways, there's your factory headlight connector. It's gonna come off of the bulb. You're gonna twist the bulb counterclockwise. It's gonna come out. You're gonna put the other bulb in. Definitely put the other bulb in before you start doing connections, so you don't have a bulb smashing around into things, because if it breaks, you're gonna be pissed, and then you're gonna have to pay for another bulb. Anyways, connect the bulb, and then take the factory headlight connector. This is if you're using the wiring harness. Remember, if you're not using the wiring harness, it's real straightforward. It's just factory headlight connector to light bulb into the ballast. But if you're using the wiring harness, as I am, you have that one. Remember that one that I said, you only have it for one side. That goes into the factory headlight connector, and that's this one right here. That one's going down. And then you're going to have, let me go get it. Then you're going to have this thing right here going into the ballast, and then this ground. The one that gets the factory headlight connector should be the side closest to the battery, because it's going to make wiring so much easier, and then after you wire it up, it'll be a lot easier to clean it. Going over to the other side, we have just this, which is pretty much this reincarnated on the other side, goes into the ballast and grounds. Remember I told you, you only have one thing to connect to the factory headlight connector, so that side you're going to have, let me get the bulb so I can show you. On that side you're going to have, on the headlight, these 2 right here that are going to go to nothing. Absolutely nothing. They're just going to be hanging out there. Tape them, do what you want. Alright, we're going to go ahead and do it right now. Okay, so we are all done here with the wiring. Wiring is as I showed you, positive and negative. The one coming from the relay going into the factory headlight connector, then going into the ballast, same thing here. Now, I had trouble finding a ground for this side, so I used the car's main ground, which was right in there, as you can see. If you don't have a good ground, it's definitely not going to work. Let's go ahead and try it right now. You always want to try it to make sure you did not miss anything before you go ahead and do it. So the lights are on. Alright, it is working. You guys can see that's one side. Second side, they're actually really bright. So now I guess you're just gonna go ahead and clean stuff up. I was already kind of looking around earlier, and I think I'm gonna mount the ballast right up on here in this little ledge. The kit came with some zip ties and some 3M, so go ahead and secure it, put everything back on, and you got yourself some HID headlights. The finished install. So I've kind of secured it all up. One thing I forgot to tell you earlier is make sure you don't do anything with this. That's your airbag module. Don't put anything in front of it. You know, don't screw with it. But anyways, I zip tied all this, so everything's nice and secure, not going to rattle. Up here, I kind of folded the wires in a little bit, make it look a little cleaner. Have this going along. I zip tied it down here. Zip tied it down here. Have it coming along here. And then over here, got it all secure, all bundled up, so it's not going to go anywhere. Tighten it down. Alright.